Good morning and welcome, everybody. It's Talking Niagara time again, 7 a.m. Monday morning, and we're here 7 a.m. every weekday morning for an hour. All right. Welcome to Talking Niagara. The first of the things on today, Dave, seems to be this air flight attendant strike. The government ordered them back, and they won't go back.
Well, hey, you've been going in. You've been going in. You've been going in and out. So I can't. Wow, it's 14 degrees. Oh, it's getting cold
Going
out
in
there.
and out.
Anyway, yeah, you've been. I'm getting spotty reception with you here. So
Really?
anyway, are you talking about the strike?
That's right. Yeah. They won't go back to work. They won't go back to work. In some respects, I understand if you're frustrated, and the reason you go on strike in the first place, why would you want to go back?
Well, they've been legislated back.
Yeah,
They've been legislated back because the government's legislated them back and wants them to go to binding arbitration. This is not the first time we found rejections of binding arbitration. So they want binding arbitration for all this, and flight attendants said no, we're not going to. So right now they're having rolling outages or rolling cancellations. That's what it is. So you might get a cancellation here, you might get a cancellation there. I tell you, one thing that would save this right quick is if everybody just stayed away from Air Canada. It might not be possible to stay away from Air Canada completely, but I certainly wouldn't want to book a flight with Air Canada right now. Would you? I can't see much. You got no volume, man. You got no. I don't know what's going on there. The government is wrong, says McMahon. You got no volume, Peter. Peter, you have no volume.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I don't know if anyone can hear me. You're on and off.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've never had volume problems since I've had this mic. Since I've had this new mic, I've never had volume problems before. That should be correct.
Everything's okay now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get moving again. Yeah. So
I think there was a general problem because you were going around like a robot there for a while, and your voice was in and out and that kind of thing. So it looks like it's all sorted itself out.
Okay. Yeah. So it seems to me that kind of it's something as basic as this. It's that they're doing work they're not paid to do. Right, so they're expected to do a certain amount before the flight and a certain amount after the flight, and they don't get paid for it.
I guess so, but yeah, maybe there's a lot of prep work. For instance, I don't know. I haven't really heard their complaints or what they want to be paid for. I don't know if they're on par with other airlines. That's the other thing. When an arbitrator comes in, the arbitrator will say, well, what does Swiss Airway make? What does TWA make? Or TWA is not even around here. What am I talking about?
What does British Airways do? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They go around and say who's making what.
Yeah.
And
what's American like? What's the standards on American? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and JetBlue is a big one.
Well, they'll probably go for the national carriers rather than the smaller airlines like JetBlue.
Well, it's an indicator. It's an indicator. Like they can use not every airline is exactly the same. Are they going to be so are they going to compare it to Qantas? Maybe, yeah. Who knows? But it's up to the arbitrator to do that.
Yeah.
And it's up to whether the union or the arbitrator give them enough money to see it their way.
Yeah. Well, that's not supposed to happen, Dave. But arbitration is arbitration basically, generally speaking, with arbitration, you get all of one side or all of the other side, don't you?
I'm not so sure. I haven't really gone through an arbitration process that way. We've always threatened strikes when I was on in my union. What happens is when it comes around contract time, there's a lot of huff and bluster and stomping and and all that. But in the end, it doesn't really end up to be anything, and we end up signing a contract. I don't know how this arbitration works itself, whether it's your side and their side, and the arbitrator comes in and says, here's your story and here's their story, and then tries to bundle it all together and says, whether you like it or not, this is what I see.
Yeah. I would say that, for example, I don't know. Let's say, for example, the union is saying that they don't get paid for the work that they do while they're on the ground, and the airline is saying that while they're on the ground, they spend too much time doing that work, and that we think that they should do it to a stricter standard and get in on, depends upon how many seats are on the plane, etc. That they need to get this done quicker. No.
Well, what happens?
Maybe there's a bit way between the two. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, what happens is our arbitration. What will happen is it's just like bargaining anyway. So the flight attendants will say, "Okay, look, we do this, this, and this on the ground before we got on the plane, and we should be paid for that."
Yeah.
Well, then the airline will say, well, you take half an hour breaks instead of 15-minute breaks. You're supposed to have 15 minutes breaks, but we've been letting you get away with half an hour breaks all this time. And it's 5 minutes there and 5 minutes back, and then a 25-minute break. So we want that down to 15 minutes precisely. You don't leave your workstation. You have your break at your workstation. And they'll say, oh, no. That's cruel and unfair punishment. And it says so right in the contract that you signed back in 2019. It says right here, we will have our breaks on site and not leave. And it will be right down to 15 minutes instead of the half an hour you're taking now. And this kind of thing will go back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. So, and the mediator's got to pick their way through. No wonder they often plump for the simpler path, which is to take one side's argument or the other.
Yeah. So that's anyway. What you'll find out is once you have to stick to your agreement, and I know this in the union says once we fix the agreement, one of the things the shop stewards had to do was not just protect the workers against stupid stuff that stuff demands unreasonable demands of the employer, but also to get the guys to work to the letter of their contract. Because if you make a contract with someone, even if you don't like it, you work to the letter of that contract until you get a chance to renegotiate it. Because if you don't, they're always putting that in your face. You signed this contract and you're not obliging to it.
Yeah.
Why should we get into a contract with you when you don't oblige your contract? You don't stick to your word. So it's very important for a union contractor to stick to the contract, because that's what they can put in front of non-union contractors.
Now you're breaking up, Dave.
We have the contract with you, and we stick to this contract, the letter of the law of this contract. Do that.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing about contracts,
there's all kinds of latitude in it anyway.
Yeah. Well, the thing about contracts is, especially labor contracts, there's a certain amount of latitude where people will say, yeah, you've done X, and it's not really strictly part of the contract, but we can we're feeling good. Things are going well right now. We'll allow you to do X, right? But when things are not going well,
if the guys are extending their break when when times are easy, but the trouble with that is, if you, even as a union guy, you find that your guys will be exploiting the situation more and more and more. So when things are nice and easy peasy, they take the longer breaks. But then when the crunch comes and you got to do your work, you got to get it done, then all of a sudden they want these long breaks that they've been accustomed to, but aren't even the contract. So they take half an hour breaks when the break should be 15 minutes. Things get stalled.
When I think about flight attendants, I've hardly ever seen them on a break. The only time they have a break is when once they've gone through the takeoff message and they sit down and strap themselves in for takeoff. In about 3 minutes, they get a break, and that's it.
They might, depending on times when there's when the lights go out and you sleep. Flight attendants, I think they circulate and they take a little break here and there. I think that's what they told me they do. I remember talking to them about it one time. So they're always on call, of course. They have to be, because they're part of the safety of the aircraft. They have to be alert. They have to be. So they may be able to get 10 minutes of snooze time here or there. Well, then if you're on an international, sit down and have something to eat as well.
It's different if you're on a long haul international flight. If you're flying to Sydney, Australia, for example, it's a heck of a lot different than if you're flying to Montreal.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
and the whole thing's different. So anyway, whatever happens, let's get this sorted out, put it to arbitration or whatever. Mike says the government's wrong, but I don't know. So what happens is people just start flying another airline, and Air Canada doesn't have the greatest reputation right now, is it? They're delayed all the time. And when I was flying back from Portugal last, I could have come Air Portugal or the Portuguese airline or Air Canada. So I chose Air Canada, but then later I found that they were delayed. And then I started looking it up because I had time in the airport. Air Canada is delayed way more than any other major airline. And they have more cancellations. Like they're more disorganized and messed up. So they don't really have the greatest reputations as it is. Their advantage, of course, is they fly out of Canada where we live, and we're Canadians, so we're more likely to take it. Once on an Air Canada flight, it's really nice. It's the same. It's really good. I think my best experiences were on Cathay Pacific. That was like you're sitting in economy and you feel like you're a god the way they treat you.
Well, I'd have to say my best experience in all the flights was flying Air Canada, funnily enough. But we're talking 20 odd years ago.
Yep. And every airline has its pluses. But anyway, let's just hope this gets all over with. I can't really it's going to stifle things. It's going to be a mess for the average Canadian. So let's get it done. And, well, the flight attendants aren't going to listen to the government. So that gives you a clear indication how much respect they have for the government.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, Niagara Falls is fading facades downtown. They're going to take the city is going to take decisive action to address the chronic vacancy and deteriorating building facades in the downtown core. They're planning to impose monetary penalties on owners who violate maintenance bylaws by aiming to combat the usual the visual decline and economic stagnation of the area. Personally, I'm not so sure it's just the owners, the building owners. I think the city's a large amount to do with it.
Why?
Well, I think the city needs to be encouraging more business to come.
How?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that they do need it. You know, we're not encouraging.
So, okay.
You know,
look, don't you think they're trying to? Look, they have a BIA down there. They had a completely failed BIA down there. They've had to take over and help the BIA. The BIA doesn't exist anymore. So they don't have that. So they don't have their own sort of local regulation. They can't even depend on that. And so the city's kind of taken over and trying to stimulate that. Downtown's been a disaster for a long, long time through a few different administrations. So so the city really can't take, I don't know what the city will do for a solution here, but the number one thing they're going to try to do is try to do something about the empty buildings. And they're going to try to do that with the AMPS, the Administrative Monetary Penalty System. I have to always read it off because I can't commit it to memory.
AMPS is lazy man's, AMPS, I'm sorry, is lazy man, lazy man law making.
Well, you asked what the city will do about it, and that's their decision.
Yeah. It's not helping. It's not helping getting the economy of the city moving forward.
Well, that's easily said, and we found that the downtown as being a problem for one administration after the other, starting in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Up until then, up until probably 1980, downtown was still a vibrant district, shopping district. As soon as Rosberg's closed down, though, that was the main hub. Basically, it was a department store, and it was a pretty good department store, as I remember. It had pretty neat stuff in it. I had a sweater there that I kept for 40 years. It was anyway. So the downtown hub started to collapse. As soon as they started putting up more like Penn Centers and things like that, people went there even just for the novelty of it. Yeah. And then, of course, they tried Niagara Square, which failed, but it did suck away some of the enthusiasm downtown. Okay, so what do you got downtown now? You got buildings, empty buildings. Actually, you got 27 according to this article.
We got new restaurants downtown.
Well, why did you go to City College? Look, so what? It's got 27 buildings that are abandoned, either abandoned or being used for storage. There is nothing in downtown right now. I mean, we got a couple of nice little restaurants and bars and that, but what else we got? Tell me what else we got. Even the bakery, even Moody's is closed down now, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so. I think it is. Or if it hasn't closed, it's going to close. Who goes down there to buy anything?
Yeah,
they got the thrift shop down there, where Salvation Army can send you with a voucher. You can get yourself a pair of shoes or a coat or something you need. But what else is there? And what is the solution?
You've still got places. Okay, so you've still got the places like Highlight Restaurant, the Buttery Restaurant, Havana Restaurant and Cocktail Lounge, Taps, Camp Cataract there.
Yeah, So, but you also have 27 empty buildings, empty or either storage buildings that used to have businesses in them.
Yeah.
I think the jewelry store down there just closed up too, didn't it?
I don't.
One that's been there forever.
Okay.
So,
okay.
right.
That's a sad loss as well. Yeah. But who buys watches and things anymore?
Who needs a watch? The only people who wear Rolexes are people that want you to know they have a Rolex. They're not wearing it because they need to know the time. That's on their phone, which they carry all the time.
Actually, there is a new generation of watches out there that are these health watches that particularly older people are being encouraged to wear.
Well, yeah, my son has tried to get me to buy one. It's it keeps an eye on your blood pressure, keeps an eye and tells you how many steps you did every day, that kind of thing. Gives you an idea how active you are. A constant reminder. I probably should get one, but I lose every watch I ever owned anyway.
A constant reminder that you've got to go out and walk a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you probably buy it from online anyway.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't go downtown to get one of them.
Yeah.
But look, the very idea. So what? There's these 27 buildings that are and it used to be a very, very vibrant place.
Yeah.
Everybody went downtown to do their shopping, and you went down there, and I bought my shoes down there, and I bought my shoes at Kent's, and I buy my shirts in Robinson's or some other such thing. And I think it was it Woolworths or something down there? They had a little lunch counter even.
Yeah.
So the very idea that downtown is dead. So how do you revitalize it? For one thing, it's going to be pretty hard.
Well, I think
you got to put people to live down there. So they're talking about putting residences down there. That might help. So that might bring in some business. But what are you going to bring more than just a corner store? Who's going to locate their store down there when nobody goes down there?
Yeah, you got to have local people within walking distance who are going to revitalize that area.
Yeah, so if you put people down there that got money, but if you put, I don't know.
And let's be honest, Dave, in these 27 buildings, they could knock them all down, and you'd be talking about the 27 eyesore lots in 5 years' time.
Like what happened to Detroit. Just empty fields then.
Yeah.
Like some of those buildings are historical, although
don't get me wrong, I'm not recommending we knock them down. I'm just saying you could easily knock them down, and then in 5 years' time we'll be talking about the empty lots.
Well, the problem is this particular article is after the people who own these places and are not utilizing them.
Yeah.
And they're boarded up, ugly eyesores, or they're storage. They've been used for storage units. So the whole idea of the article is that any buildings that have been sort of boarded up, they will be fined for making an eyesore out of the city.
But
ones that are going to use the AMPS method to do that.
Yeah. Well, the AMPS is another question entirely, but AMPS is lazy man law running, but every city uses it.
But real law is ponderously slow. And that's the whole idea that AMPS came in, because the court system and real law is ponderously slow.
I know.
It takes years and months and months and months to do the most minor of things in the court. That's why an accelerated system like AMPS was devised, because the legal system is like 200 years behind the time. I think I don't know, I've been to court myself to see a few things, and it's like insanely overlap. I mean, the lawyers love it because it's circuitous madness. It just, I don't know. So that's why they come up with amps. So if the legal system can handle them, they would use the legal system. But the legal system can't handle it. Their
Anyway.
legal system is still trying to find out how to tie its own shoes.
Yeah. Now the thing is, okay, if you're using a building for storage, it's not unused. So
yes, but it is being used for a purpose that it's not supposed to be used for. That's the other part of the argument there.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be retail. Those buildings are all zoned retail, as far as I know. That's, I think, the argument they're using here. So they used it retail, and then they put storage in them, which doesn't help the city, because if it's trying to revitalize its downtown, and you got to build, somebody's bought a building and uses it for storage.
I think what they're saying is clean it, use it, or rent it, or sell it. You know?
I think this is just one more level of frustration.
Yeah.
They cannot build downtown. I don't think anybody else has much faith in building downtown. So the people who do own those buildings will use them for storage or board them up. But anyone that's boarded them up will get fined. Those using it for those purposes that it wasn't zoned for, they'll get fined.
Yeah. And it's different, let's be honest, it's different building them up. If you're boarding it up because you're creating a new shop in there, that's one thing. If you're boarding it up for permanent, that's quite another thing entirely.
They know the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, let's move. This next story I found a bit disturbing. Oh, that wasn't what
diamond industry.
That wasn't what's supposed to be there. Okay, all right, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that one.
Well, this is pretty interesting, because I don't know how many people know that Canada has a pretty good diamond industry. We opened up some mines back 20, 30 years ago. I think it was about 30 years ago in the Northwest Territories, and it was a really good thing. Canada has diamonds, has some really good diamonds.
Yeah.
High-end diamonds, natural diamonds. So you think, oh, well, the Northwest Territories has got diamond mines that's going to help a lot of people up there, and it certainly has. So they dug for diamonds, they sold diamonds. But what's happening to the diamond industry?
Everybody loves lab created diamonds. This is what is happening. And the interesting thing is that a lab grown and natural diamonds, you can't actually tell the difference. They're as hard, lab grown diamonds are as hard as natural diamonds, and you could not actually tell the difference apart.
A jeweler can.
Jeweler can, but you and I could.
Jeweler can, because you know why? It's too perfect. And there are things about natural diamonds that aren't exactly 100% perfect. You can get a beautiful stone, even the so-called pink panther. The reason why the pink panther was called that, because of a tiny imperfection that kind of looked like a little pink panther, according to the story.
Yeah. Gives a pink glow inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So natural diamonds, we have all kinds of them up in the Northwest Territories, and they're super high quality. The problem is, people don't. It used to be a big deal that you had a natural diamond, and only your poor cousin went around with the zirconium, zircon, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, but these are not zirconium. These are properly created diamonds that have been created under pressure, for hundreds.
It only takes a few weeks. It takes a few weeks to make them.
Yeah.
And what they do is basically they take carbon and simulate the process by which a diamond was created.
Yeah.
And by using an industrial seam. So, for instance, if you want a natural diamond made in the earth 200 million years ago by pressures of whatever, and you've got this natural diamond, you get a 2-carat diamond, it's going to cost you $35,000. But you can get a much bigger much shinier stone for $3,000. And so nowadays, when people like, I mean, I never got this idea about rings and everything. It's so boring to me that you got to have a wedding ring and you got to have a diamond engagement ring. When I got married, we only had enough money to buy one ring, so she got it, and we shopped around for the cheapest one, and the cheapest one was $10 cheaper than the other two. So for $90, we got a sort of gold wedding ring. It was probably 1 part gold and 9 part zinc. I don't know.
It was probably 14 karat gold, which is typical of what was sold here in North America.
Yeah.
In Britain, it would be 9 karat gold, right? So only 922 gold, was here in North America you get 1422 worth of gold.
10 karat gold is very common here too. 10 karat.
Okay.
10 carats. In fact, it's probably a better idea to get 10. If you're going to wear it a lot, you're better off getting 10 karat because it will hold up longer.
You are. It will hold up longer, yeah.
But in any case, to get down to it, like, but nowadays people don't care about that. If they can get a big shiny rock that looks, that they for 1/10 of the price, they can get a real stone, they're going to use their money for other. People don't have as much disposable income anymore. You know what I mean? I mentioned Rolexes a little while ago. So you got a shiny rock and a Rolex. I don't give a, to a person like me, I might be more like the modern person now. I could care less about a Rolex. I'll buy the cheapest Timex if I need a watch. I don't give a hoot about a natural diamond, except the interest thing. If I saw a natural diamond and I'd be looking at it, I'd be more interested in it. I could care less about owning it. And I think that's where more people are going. They're going like me. Like, if you want some jewelry, why do you want to buy that? Really, you want to buy that emerald? Okay, go buy the emerald. I'll buy a green stone. It's just as shiny.
Well, I think what they're of course talking about is, of course, how negatively our natural diamond industry is getting impacted by the use of now lab-grown diamonds.
That's right, because the prestige of having a real diamond is going away. Yeah, and that's the undercurrent here. Like fake diamonds or a lab-made diamonds. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah,
they've been around for a long time. And why? But they did not have the prestige of being real. And there was a definite hierarchy. If you wanted the real prestige, you went around and told everybody it's a real diamond, not a lab one. Now people don't care about that much anymore.
But cubic zirconia is not a diamond. Cubic zirconia wouldn't scratch a piece of glass and break it. Whereas these new lab-made diamonds, you can score a piece of glass and break it.
So what? They're not real. They're not the real thing. They weren't made in the earth.
Actually, they were.
My whole point was that people don't care about that anymore. The prestige of having a real diamond made in the earth 200 million years ago, that used to be a point of prestige.
I know.
And we could look down your nose at the lab made ones. Not anymore. People don't care about that. If I got a fake Rolex, I don't care if it's a fake Rolex or a real one. If I see a guy with a Rolex and it's fake, I wouldn't know the difference. If I see the lab made stone diamond, I don't know the difference. Yeah. So I think people are kind of turning off this idea they have to have these prestige type of accoutrements.
Yeah, I get you. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and and as I said, many of the lab-made ones are now as pretty well as good as the natural ones. Okay, is this okay? I'm going to say no. All right. There's a gentleman who's actually playing antics. He's running down Clifton Hill in a wheelchair at high speed, and he thinks it's okay. I'm not a fan. Sorry. I think that's very dangerous. I think that people are going to get killed. Somebody's going to get killed.
This is very interesting. So where is the line you want to draw? Here's a guy in a wheelchair zooming down Clifton Hill, and he goes to other steep hills and does the same thing. So he zooms down the hill. You say he shouldn't do it because he's going to hurt himself or hurt others.
It's not
his idea is that's my right to do that. If I want to do that, I can do that. So how much do you want to limit the guy's independence for his own safety?
I'm as concerned as other people's safety, because if he comes crashing down that hill at 40, 50 mile an hour at the bottom of it, there's no way he can actually put those gloves onto the wheels and actually brake. He could come smacking into some other car. Whether he kills himself, I'm not so concerned about. I'm concerned that he could cause accidents.
Well, when I read this, I thought, well, here's this guy. He's had this very odd disease that's put him in a wheelchair and has kind of ruined his life. And as a reaction to it, he started zooming down hills just as kind of a daredevil thing.
Yeah.
Just to react to his situation. But then he finds himself becoming very famous on social media and decides to do something with it. To bring attention to people in wheelchairs. So definitely he does do that.
He does that.
So he is accomplishing he is accomplishing that. And we quite often are dismissive of people in wheelchairs. We just kind of forget about them. Anyway, so basically he is doing that. However, is it the motorcycle helmet thing? That means people here in Ontario need to have a helmet on and need to wear a seatbelt in a car or a helmet on a motorcycle, because if they get into an accident, it's going to stop them from having more severe injury that the Ontario taxpayer will have to take care of. So when this guy comes flying down the hill, and if he does get in an accident, that means the Ontario taxpayer is going to have to put up money to get him fixed, or take care of him. When somebody's driving around without a seatbelt, gets in an accident, has a spine injury because of it, because they had no seatbelt, the Ontario taxpayer is on the hook for that.
Yeah.
Same thing with a motorcycle. That's why you have to have your helmet. People don't care if you die. If you die, that's good. That's easy. It's all done. You get in a motorcycle accident and you die, there is no more. There's just a few insurance things to do. But if you get in an accident and got a long-term spinal injury, then the Ontario government health system has to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem we have here. It's the rest of your life thing. And he's already suffering. He's already suffered from that. We get that, right? He's in a wheelchair already. But this is not the only place he's doing it. He's doing it in other places as well. Yeah.
So that's my point, is one of an ethical point. I have as long as he's running down Mondays and Fridays or something, I can't remember. It's in the article on Clifton Hill every summer. And obviously they're letting him do that. That's a bit of an attraction that brings people to Clifton Hill. Brings of interest, and of course the businesses want that. However, if he gets hurt or killed doing that, then that's a problem. Like I say, if he dies, oh well, that's one thing. But if he gets hurt and he has to go in the hospital for longer periods of time, that's the Ontario taxpayer having to foot that bill. So my question is one of ethics. Like he's running down there, and I've got no problem with that at all. Him running down that hill if he had his own insurance.
He does Queenston Hill, right? So
yeah, he does all kinds of hills.
Yeah. I don't know what he says. Stanley Road near 405. I don't know what hill he's talking about there. It's relatively flat out there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
Unless he's talking about the one going down right when you go down Robinson Road, where the Robinson Road dips down for the, where you come along and you're going down the 420 and approaching the bridge, and then you just do a big dip. Maybe he's going down that hill.
Don't know. Don't really know. No, he says Stanley Road near 405. He calls it Kick-Ass Little Hill. One of his Instagram videos. It's quite a stretch.
Oh, Stanley at 405. Okay, that's okay. I know what that is. Yeah. There's a nice little slope there. Yeah. You can really go down there.
Looks flat to me, but still okay.
There's a hill. There's St. David's Hill there, not far from that. Yeah, I went down there.
That's a massive hill, but that would be very dangerous at the bottom, because if you've got to come to a stop at the bottom.
I went down that on a skateboard.
Yeah. Okay.
50 years ago. I was
less traffic back then, though, Dave.
Well, I went. It was a challenge. We all tried to take a challenge. We all tried to take a skateboard down the hill. Most of the time, you only got to a certain point, and you fell off, and then you might be able to go up for the rest after that. But I was the only one who made it from the very top to the very bottom. And another guy had to go to the hospital. He wiped out. Other guys got beat up pretty bad. And of course, young men and their dumbass testosterone, who figured this was a good idea. I wiped out a few times before I was able to go all the way from the top to the bottom. But but one guy had to go to the hospital, and another guy had to be all patched up, and another guy, like, we all got damage done. But I don't know, when you're 20 years old, something's wrong with you.
When you did that, Dave, did you zigzag down the hill like skiing?
No, I held on. The wheels were really too small for that particular job. And one guy was going down quite well, and he hit a stone. And as soon as he hit the stone, he just did a tumble. When I got out of him, I started going down. All I did was just kind of hold my breath and say, just hold steady. And the damn thing was going like this under me, like crazy, because I was going really fast, of course. And all I was just trying to do is keep my balance as the thing went down. I couldn't aim it at all, because the wheels were too small. It was just it was the wrong skateboard for the wrong. It's amazing. It's just a miracle that I made it down anyway, because I just got lucky. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not so, okay. So it's up to him to do what he wants to do, but I'm more concerned about how it's impacting other people. It's not like the road shut off at all for him to do it.
No. Well, isn't it? Doesn't he? He must have the road shut off or something.
I don't think so.
No, not if he does it twice. Like, I didn't read that, but I was just assuming that they shut it down twice. Whenever he does it, just for it's an attraction. He's just giving them another attraction.
Okay. If the roads are shut, then fine. But the picture on one of the articles shows traffic on the road.
I don't know what's happening down there. Like, if he's doing it, he's doing it, and if he caves in somebody's car, they're going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's still, I just don't want him to start to encourage a whole lot of other people that are stuck in a wheelchair to do that kind of thing. You know, I don't want it to become a fad and all these people with wheelchairs come flying down Clifton Hill.
Yeah, I don't want that either. Yeah, definitely don't want a fad of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This next story is a bit disturbing. It isn't local, but it is disturbing nonetheless. A boy of 8 was killed. Was
He's
killed.
still lying down in a bed with his mother.
Yeah.
Where he lived.
Yeah.
That's because there was gunplay in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time I've heard about a child getting killed. It happened in St. Catharines some years ago when a guy had a pistol and then he was just itching to use the pistol. So he shot the floor of his apartment just to get off a round. And what he did was he shot and it went right through a kid underneath lying in bed sleeping. In this particular case, a kid's lying in bed with his mother, 8-year-old kid lying in bed with his mother. And there's some gunplay close by, and the bullet goes through. We're not even sure that there was an exchange of heated a battle going on. It could have been just guys shooting off their gun because they're idiots.
Yeah.
And one of these bullets kills a young lad lying in bed. It's a tragic thing. That's what guns do. And get all the handguns off the street. Get them out of there. We don't want to be the United States. We don't want to be the gun culture. Well, get those out of the streets. Put back very firm penalties. Trudeau can go in the garbage dump with his idea that we got to reduce the gun penalties because more people of minorities suffer hold guns illegally. I don't know what his stupid, idiotic ideas were, but bring back very punitive handgun laws. Get these people in jail if they have a handgun. Done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you have a legal handgun, you're fine. If you have a legal gun, fine. You're okay. But
but again, I just actually wonder because what sort of places are they living in? Is this part of for a bullet to go through a wall? Bullets wouldn't normally go through a brick wall.
Who says a brick wall?
I know.
It had to be a siding.
What's the kind of quality of the workmanship here?
Look, it could go through a window, right?
True.
It goes through a window. If your house is made of siding, it go right through the siding.
Yeah.
Right. My one of my old houses, the first house I bought was wood with siding on the outside.
Yeah.
The bullet easily go through that.
Yeah. Well, I've lived in brick houses most of my lives, and I'm thinking, that's
the bullet would not have gone through a brick house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So obviously,
you're right. It could go through a window. It could go through
a window. It could have gone through siding. The incident I talked about earlier, where some idiot had a handgun and he was itching to use it, so he put a bullet in the floor just so that he could shoot something, and he killed the kid underneath. In bed, in a part. So he went through a wood floor, and a plaster ceiling, and then killed the kid.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways for bullets to get in. Like I'm sitting by the window right now, So if I got shot, my whole building's brick, but so what? It's got windows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just we're not building buildings as okay, so where I'm sat right now, there's a window right here, and it's true enough that somebody could shoot an obscure bullet at an odd angle and hit me right here. Right? It's rare. It was an unusual thing to happen, but it could happen, right?
You're more likely to get pied.
Well, it's always bothered me that it's like you take a walk down River Road, and somebody shooting off somebody, if somebody was shooting somebody on the American side, you could get shot.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah. God, I've been over there, and I've seen handguns over there. The barkeeps keep one. My God, oh, man. God.
Yeah. But
they're nuts for guns over there. They're idiots.
Yeah,
I don't know. They just the gun culture over there.
Chances are that it wouldn't kill a person on River Road. If they were shooting somebody on the other side of the river and they missed, it would actually more likely lodge in the cliff than hit somebody on River Road. But you never know.
Look, the possibility. Look, if there's a gun battle over in Niagara Falls, New York, and they're using handguns, I mean it's a bit of a distance, but still that projectile is deadly. Let's say they're using 9 mils, 9 millimeter, just your everyday standard 9 millimeter. That's a very effective weapon. If they're on the other side of the river and they point and shoot at you on this side, let's say a nutcase is over there, and he happens to just get lucky and hit you, you die easily of that shot.
Yeah. And
muzzle velocity of those damn things is like 2,000 or 3,000 feet per second.
But more likely, though, that it's more likely it would bed itself in the cliff on the as it comes through, because it would.
Not with my luck. Not with my luck.
It would naturally go downwards, right?
Not with my luck. I'll be bent over. Oh, look! I found $1,000 bill. I'll bend down, and some idiot from the U.S. decides he's going to shoot his gun, and I'll get it right in the ass.
Well, at least the ass will save you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hello, doctor. I got a hello, doctor. Can I get to the head of the line? I got a 9 millimeter slug in my ass. I said, oh no, we're kind of busy. Well, here's 1,000. Can you get me to the front?
All right. I think we're on to your favorite subject next. Hampstead, Quebec residents are challenging the Israeli flag on the front of the town hall.
Yes.
Well,
so
actually,
some idiot, it was the mayor. The town flag. They rolled down the town flag and put up the Israeli flag.
Yeah.
And yet the whole it's a strong Jewish neighborhood, so I think it's got about 40% Jewish content in the neighborhood. But they decided for everyone else that they're going to support the state of Israel, and so they took down the town's flag and put up Israel's flag, and the mayor is not going to take it down. Well, I hate that. If you want to fly the flag of Israel, go to Israel. If it's your own private property, fly it. Fine, do that. If it's your own private property, fly the Ukraine flag, fly any other, the Azerbaijan flag, the Armenian flag, whatever you want to do on your own private property.
Civic property.
That's public land.
Yeah. Civic property should stay civic matters.
Let's make it clear. This is not Israel. So get the damn flag down and put the Hampstead flag back up. Number one, Canadian flag. Number two, provincial flag. Number three, municipal flag. Done. No more other rubbish flag somewhere. If you want to fly the Israeli flag on public land, then go to Israel where you can do that. Otherwise, get it down.
Yeah.
Same thing with any other flag, any other country's flag. You want that does not belong on public space. You cannot. You cannot commandeer it for your own personal
flag. This idea has been discussed even here locally about what flags should be flown and how they should be flown. It's not about what you support, and hey, go support Israel all you want. That's fine. It's just municipal rules state precisely as you said. Canada flag first. Province flag second, third is city flag.
Yeah, that's
absolutely. And that's it. That is all the flags you fly.
Right here in Niagara Falls, there should be 3 flags there.
Yeah,
there should be Canadian flag. That's the number one. Number 2 is an Ontario flag.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Ontario flag. Number 3, the municipal flag. That's it. If you want to fly the regional flag, maybe, well, I don't know, but
I would argue. I would argue. Let's say that, for example, if the president of Rwanda was visiting Niagara Falls, you might, on a 4th flagpole, fly the Rwandan flag, especially if the president of Rwanda was visiting the city hall.
Yes, of course. Right? That's protocol. That's what's called diplomatic protocol.
Absolutely.
And there are rules for diplomatic protocol, but you don't fly like if somebody went to Niagara Falls. Can you imagine? Went to Niagara Falls City Hall, and the mayor happened to be, David Ben Diodati instead of Diodati, and he decided, well, you know what, we're going to support Israel, and we're going to roll down this Niagara Falls flag and put up the Israeli flag. How about that?
Yeah.
How far would that go?
Yeah.
Right.
It's not the right thing to do. It's not definitely not the right thing to do.
Stay out of geopolitics. Right? That flag, those flags are for us, not for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I say, you might put a 4th flag up if you were if you were hosting somebody.
Yeah, that lasts a day or a couple hours.
Yeah, exactly. That lasts a day, a couple of hours, because once they're gone, you can fold it back up and you can put it, and you can get on with your life, right?
Now there are flagpoles down at downtown that we can use for ceremonies, like putting up the Azerbaijan flag or the Palestinian flag or whatever flag temporarily. And they are sort of not part of the regular protocol of the flags that are on City Hall. That's what Lori Lococo explained. Yeah. So when you put up the United Way flag or the Heart flag,
because you're doing it for whatever the charity day,
Rwanda, right? Or whatever else.
Yeah,
and it's Rwanda Independence Day, and somebody decides they're going to put up Rwanda's flag for some damn reason. Then those flags are meant for that. But as far as I'm concerned, no geopolitics. Stay right out of it. That's not our concern. We're Canadians. We are concerned with Canada. You want to put up Israeli flag? Do it on your own property. For sure, fine, go ahead.
Yeah,
not on public land.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's an important aspect about that. And the other thing, of course, is that flags have to be flown right.
They can't. Well, you fascist. What about the left flags? You said they can be flown left. If they can be flown right, they can be flown left.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
It depends on the wind direction.
Let me rephrase that then, Dave. Flags need to be flown correctly.
Well,
did you know the Union Jack can be put on upside down? Most people didn't know that. There is a right way and a wrong way to put up the Union Jack, for example.
Yeah, look for the little arrow that shows you which way is up. Well, I tell you something. There's a flag down on Fort George there. I'm not so sure that's the right flag, because the Union Jack didn't come in till about 1801, didn't it? And before that, it was the Grand Union. It was the flag that did not include Ireland. So I think Grand Union flag would be more appropriate there, because Fort George was built before the Union Jack.
I think you're probably right on that one. I have looked at that one and thought to myself, I've looked at it and pondered it, and I'm not 100% sure, because it's quite at the timing. I thought the Union Jack was actually much older than the War of 1812. Much younger than the War of 1812. I thought it was
well, they had something similar. Like, for instance, when they were fighting in the American rebellion, they would be using what would be called the Grand Union, which is, and I don't think the Union Jack came into use until about 1801. Am I right about that, or maybe?
I don't know. I'm trying to. 1801. You're right. Yeah.
And before that, they used they had various names for the one before that.
Current flags design's been in use since 1801.
What was that prior to that? I think they called it the Grand Union, and it did not. It was the same as the Union Jack, but didn't include the flag of Ireland. The Union Jack is a overlaying bunch of flags. I think the one that's missing is the flag of Ireland. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
Interesting point.
I don't know, to be quite honest. Okay, the Union Jack was before the Union Jack. There was the Union flag was established in 1606.
Yeah, that's 1606 because that's when King James VI of Scotland became King James I of England at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it was the United Kingdoms of Scotland and England, Wales, and Wales. I think it was that one because it was the united flags of England, Wales, and Scotland. I think that was the flag that was used.
Yeah. And it did not. Yeah, I'm not in. I'm not sure of the. I'm not sure exactly of how long. Yeah, how old the other one is, and exactly what the differences are between the Union, the current Union Jack and the original ones. The original one in 1600.
Yeah, so they began around 1606, and it says here, and then 1707. How about that? 1606, then 1707, 101 years later, another version came up. And then there was the proportion. Yeah, then there was the, I don't know, a historian buff told me that at the time, a nickname for the one previous to the Union Jack was the Grand Union. So I don't know. The Union Jack ended up being what it is, and kind of neat flag, really. It's kind of one of the neatest ones around. And it's just made up of all the other flags.
Yeah, it's interesting, that one. Grand Union flag was actually used in the United States. It's actually the British. It's the British. It's actually a Red Cross. It's actually a Scottish and English join with the 13 Stripes of the USA.
Oh yeah, that was that. Yeah, that's because they used that. That was their initial flag.
Yeah,
that was their initial flag. The Americans' initial flag was kind of like a little Union Jack in the corner. With the stars and bar, or the stars with the red and white stripes.
Yeah, the red and white stripes to represent the 13 colonies, and the Union Jack to represent the origins, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they quickly dropped that because they wanted to unidentify as.
Absolutely, I get it.
With the kingdom. But at first, that was the first flag. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. But the original, I guess what we're talking about then is the original Union Jack would have been the diagonal blue and white cross of Scotland versus the horizontal red and white cross of England.
Yeah, I've seen variations of British flags. There's one in that movie Barry Lyndon. Remember the movie Barry Lyndon? Something about Barry Lyndon, or the Journeys of Barry Lyndon, or something like that.
I don't remember it, but yeah.
And a lot of these, a lot of movies do have accurate depictions of history. And then if you watch that movie, you'll see the Union Jack looks different. It doesn't include the Irish flag in it.
Yeah, yeah. No, in fact, would have been the English and Scottish flags, I think.
English, Scottish, and Welsh.
Yeah, I'm never sure what the Welsh flag was, because the only Welsh flag we know about, I know about today, is the dragon.
Yeah, well, they have in the old days, each one of them had very simple flags.
Yeah.
The English was a red cross on a white background. The Scottish was a white X on a blue background.
Yeah.
And Wales had one as well. So I think I don't know which one it was.
I haven't a clue what the Welsh one is. Yeah. All right. Okay, I think we can kind of call it quits at that point. Dave, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm just looking up something.
Yeah.
Now you got me thinking. I gotta know.
Well, we can cover it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The little dragon sometimes they put it right in the middle of the Union Jack. It says here, the Welsh dragon is not represented in the Union Jack because Wales has already incorporated into the Kingdom of England by the time the Union flag was created. Okay, in 1698. So it does not. They don't put it in there. So they didn't have.
The Welsh were basically being subjugated since they were 1300, wasn't it? The invasion of Wales. So in the 1300s.
It goes back even earlier than that. It goes back to the 1200s. But basically, what it was, they would go. The Normans would go in there and beat up on the Welsh every once in a while, and then put a king or a chieftain in that they liked. And then after a while, they had it with the Welsh, and then so they just sent in. They just took over completely, and when they did that, then that's when the Prince of Wales was created, and that is in 1300s. Yeah. So they just decided, okay, forget it. The Welsh, if we can't control these Welsh people, we'll just take them over.
Yeah,
and we'll put our Prince of Wales instead of the Kings of Wales.
Yeah, exactly. That was, but the subjugation of Wales happened in the 1300s. I know that, the final subjugation of Wales.
Yeah, before that, the Normans tried to make client states.
There'd been battles across that border for centuries.
Well, that's where in the 1200s, that's where the English got a wake-up call about the longbow, because the Welsh were so, I mean, they had much less resources than the Normans did, but the Normans says, holy cow, what are they doing with those bows? So that's when the kings of England decided to say, every young man has to learn how to use a bow. And that's why they were so effective, because anyone can use a crossbow, but if you're going to use a longbow, you need a long time of apprenticeship. Basically, you have to practice a lot. You have to really know your bow and your arrows and your fletches and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Once you do, it's a very effective weapon, because even the French tried to adopt the longbow, but they couldn't, because they realized they needed time to train their archers, and it takes you have to start learning when you're a kid. Yeah. Before you're a great archer.
I can shoot. I can shoot bow and arrow. Anyway, we got to get going.
Okay, we'll have a duel. You bring your bow and arrow, and I'll bring my shotgun.
I don't have a bow and arrow, but yeah, I could shoot years ago.
Okay, without further ado, I bid you do not forget Gaza. Gaza is being worse and worse every day. I still am astonished that the West is allowing it to happen. But anyway, don't forget it, because the Greater Israel Project is on. Like, I don't know. It's a terrible, terrible thing that's happening right now. And maybe we talk about it tomorrow, but Netanyahu has made everybody upset in the Middle East, because he's talking about the Greater Israel Project, which is a huge expansion of Israel into Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and the northern Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. So that's what's in the back of his mind. That's what's really in his mind. Without further ado, I bid you adieu.